Now that Casey's on the red side, Canna can just get counterpick.
That is true. I mean, but Oscar had counterpick last game, Vedi, and that didn't seem to work.
You're quite right, yes.
Obviously, counterpicks are overrated.
Potentially.
Yeah, that's how that works.
We shall see how things pan out as we enter the pick and ban.
That we do. Fnatic with another wake-up call after their series against SK last week. Now game 1 against Karmine Corp. They seem to have slept through so many, it's like snoozing your alarm clock in the morning, you know? Just 5 more minutes, please, guys. 5 more minutes. We'll wake up for the next game. Well, hopefully they wake up for this one as Karmine Corp took them to the cleaners in game 1. We have the Maokai, the Yone, and the Caliste banned away by Fnatic. Rumble and Vi removed by Karmine Corp. And we'll see where they go with their final ban. Skarner is the one that immediately springs to mind. We saw that banned out by Fnatic in game 1.
I'm surprised Gwen isn't higher on the list. But yeah, it's just going to be another Skarner ban. So they're really looking to pinch this pool. Will Fnatic just insta-lock Sejuani is my question. I think it's a good pick. I think that when in doubt, you can just slam a tank jungler.
Just sedge it out.
Yep, just sedge it out.
And then if you do want to pick the Gwen, if it's not picked by Karmine Corp, you get that double melee synergy as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Nope, Zyra instead.
I don't trust Zyra anymore.
I trust Yike to play Mundo.
So that's part of the reason too. I think that teams have gotten really good at figuring out what's good into Zyra, and so first picking it, I think, runs a lot of risks, which, as you rightly said, Dr. Mundo, I think, is a great pick into it. And I have seen some people asking why, and the really easy answer is Mundo is a stat check champion.
Yeah.
He just generates so much health that you basically need to do more damage than he can regenerate health. And mages can't really do that, which is why Zyra, even with her plants and her burning, like, it really doesn't phase Mundo very much, and he can ignore her roots because of his passive.
Where he pleases.
Exactly. So it's quite a good matchup for the Mundo. Ashe going to be the lock-in, though, for Caliste. Ashe, mixed in terms of priority, I would say. I feel like there were some changes to her not that long ago that kind of made her laning phase, I would say, a little bit weaker than what it was, but still a strong AD carry, especially depending on what support is paired up alongside.
I am interested to see Ashe and Corki picked this early, though. You've got double ADs already. You're already indicating that Corki's going to go into the mid lane. You could play Ashe support. It's been a while.
I'm assuming AD carry.
I assume AD carry as well. Rell is going to be the pick into it from Mikyx, but I expected a jungler, is what I'm saying, basically. I wonder if Karmine Corp will leave that jungler for, well, R3. We'll see if that's where they go. Miss Fortune, the lock-in for upset.
The last time we saw Miss Fortune for Fnatic, ironically, was Game 5 against Fnatic versus KC in the semifinals of Winter. And that one did not go quite the way that they wanted.
Yeah, but Ice won on it earlier today, so it's a good pick again, Vedi. How that works.
I mean, I'm sure that's not their logic. But, I mean, in terms of powerful laners, I think it does do a very good job. You've got already great wombo combo teamfight potential. And now they just need a little bit more engage, I would say, potentially either to follow up on the Rell or to provide an alternative option so that you're not solely reliant on the Rell.
I agree with that. I do think, like, playing Rell MF into Braum, I'm not a very happy camper if I'm the Rell in that lane. You jump in, you immediately CC'd, the Unbreakable comes up, so your Misfortune can't actually do any damage to the enemy AD carry. It's going to be a tricky, tricky sequence of events down towards that bottom lane. Does mean that Fnatic get to ban out some of those junglers if they want. Cassante and Gwen, the first 2 bans in this second phase.
You know, the thing that Braum also does is, like, I saw the Cassante ban, I see the Gwen ban, immediately I'm like thinking, like, oh, this could be a Fnatic Ornn game.
No, it can't.
Braum makes the Ornn that much harder. So, what direction do you go as the top pool continues to get pinched? The Jack's being taken away. I think the reason why Gwen is so valuable is because of AP top laners, which means that Rumble probably... Oh, so the Nidalee ban, they're attacking jungle, but you've got to remember that Rumble is still up.
Yeah, you could just go Rumble and then tank jungle or scaling jungle like the Ivern.
You could do like a Rumble Sejuani, Rumble Amumu, if you really want like AP jungler.
Yeah, but Oscar playing into the Rumble, what do you pick?
Rumble
Maybe Galio? We have seen Oscar Galio already.
But the thing is, they don't even have to pick Rumble now.
Yeah, true.
They could just wait. It depends how concerned you are about it.
Brand, okay, I was wondering if we'd see Brand again. He was buffed on 25.07, the patch that we are playing on, live patch. And I did
clear, right?
Yeah, I did. It was the passive damage, I believe.
So his clear speed.
Yeah, his clear speed is increased. You're 100% right. But I was wondering if we'd start to see it a little bit again, because it was a favorite of many junglers before it got relatively nerfed. Viktor and Gnar, the final 2 picks for Fnatic.
So, I mean, Fnatic have a very safe and solid teamfight composition. Ooh, Canna's hovering the Aatrox. Please don't do Yasuo.
Yeah, but it's Canna's Yasuo.
Yeah, I still don't like it here. I really don't like the Yasuo.
But you have another Wind Wall, Vedi. 2 walls.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, okay, so KC's comp, very little engage. I would even say that they don't have really any engage.
They have Ashe Arrow.
Yeah. Do you constitute that as engage?
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree.
I can understand you. I think it is an engage tool.
Sure.
I wouldn't count it as a primary.
Like, I think of it as a way to, like, get picks.
Yeah,
or
but
like,
how do you... If you're going to kill someone, Vedi, you have to engage onto them.
Okay. Well, then let's align on my definition of engage.
Okay.
And then you can tell me if you agree or not. So when I think of engage, I think of a medium with which a fight can begin that allows champions to do what they want to do.
Okay, so if you want to pick people, you can use Ashe Arrow.
Yeah, 100%.
So you engage in a fight.
I don't know if I agree with that.
If you engage in warfare, you are trading shots.
Okay, yes.
We'll see if Fnatic can trade some shots in this game, Vedius. It's game 2 of this best of 3. Karmine Corp with minimal engage, as we said. Fnatic with a lot more very solid team fight if they can get towards that stage. But in game 1, it was all about the top lane. Canna having a massive lead over Oscarinin here. Oscar on his Gnar. A little bit more comfortable. Has range, but Canna did decide to pick the Aatrox into it.
And I think that the Aatrox can be a fantastic matchup for Canna. Something that we saw from KC at the end of winter was that they want Canna to have agency. It's really important that he's in a position where he can be a carry. But the reason why I harped on about the engage comments is because when I look at Fnatic's comp, I think that Rell and Gnar really set up for what Fnatic want to do.
Yeah.
Viktor's damage is a lot of AoE, likes to hit lots of people with his Chaos Storm and with his Death Ray. Upset wants to get a beautiful bullet time across the entire KC lineup.
That is true.
And Razork, it's much easier for him to follow up when the engage has already come through, providing a lot of zone control for his team. So he's got 2 forms of CC in both the Rell, Crash Down plus Ultimate, plus the Gnar in order to start these fights off, and Fnatic have a good composition to follow. KC's composition, they don't really have the utility to get a huge amount of value out of Brand Ultimates. Aatrox doesn't really have much to follow up on.
Sure.
He just kind of has to walk at them menacingly. And while the Ashe Arrow may connect onto a single target, how do you then deal with all the other things that are going to stop you from approaching? Which is right now my concern for KC.
I 100% understand that and can agree with you, especially since it's here in the LEC, low engage compositions, we tend to struggle with them a little bit.
That's true.
You know, Karmine Corp have been playing exceptionally well, and if there's any team in the LEC right now that I would trust to play a composition like this, it would be Karmine Corp.
That's fair. Let's see how they do. When we look at early laning phases, you expect Oscar to actually have early push in this matchup towards the top side of the map. Aatrox has very long cooldowns, which means it's just very difficult for him to really trade in the early laning phase. So once he gets a few levels under his belt, he can start to be a lot more aggressive. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, Braum, if you ever connect that Q, you just generate so much pressure. And with the Ashe slows on her passive, that makes it that much harder to have to deal with. Right now, the race for level 2 is on.
It's just so hard. Mikyx and Targamas will hit level 2 first, go in with the Shadowing Strike. Targamas the one locked up and ignited, but Upset needs to get away from these concussive blows. Has the cleanse. Caliste trading back well. Supports health for AD carries health.
Well, that was a decent number of summoner spells traded, but ultimately it was a win for KC's bot lane 2 versus 2. While they do have the pressure in terms of the push, you can see Fnatic gaining push in the top lane and also in the mid. So this time around, Fnatic having a lot more laning agency compared to what we saw in game 1.
Definitely are. You can see Mikyx here body blocking those Winter's bites as well, making sure he's the one taking the damage, because of course when you crash down you get that shield. Humanoid and Vladi trading in the mid lane. Humanoid coming out on top of that. The Siphon power, that Q, when you get that shield back, makes it so much easier to trade. Obviously, don't want to stand in the Gatling gun for too long because of the resist shred, but it's all right for Humanoid so far. Wave not in the best of spots for Oscarinin, as Canna will jump forward. Infernal Chain's dodged, just walks out of it immediately. Oscar puts the ward in and realizes, yep, Yike was looking for me, but Canna again has that wave in a very precarious spot for the Gnar.
Yeah, I just realized that we're in a Braum versus Zyra matchup again, which was the jungle matchup, I think, summer last year.
And Yike's going to have to flash.
Yes, he is, because the problem with this matchup for the Braum... Oh, hang on, I'll hold my tongue.
Mikyx does mount up, then crashes down. Make it rain for the slow. Flash forward. Targamas looking for a little bit more. Mikyx just out of auto range for Caliste. Flashes burnt across the board.
So we have decided there will be no summoners in the bot lane. Caliste, while he still does have his cleanse, 7 out of the 8 summoners between the bot laners have completely gone. So junglers should be setting their sights on that side of the map. Should be some easy pickings potentially as the top lane continues to trade and mid lane relatively even though Humanoid has been able to find some nice trades in the isolated 1v1. Good push in of this bot wave as well from Caliste. But I think with MF's move speed, he's still going to
lose. Strut. He'll lose 2 minions. Should be able to catch the first one with a double up. Yep, nice. But yeah, this is one of the struggles of playing into Ashe, especially, but also very much alongside Braum. If you are ever trying to push the lane out and you get clipped, that is a long way to run while you're very, very slow. Vladi with the Valkyrie out here. Mikyx will look for the Shadowing Strike, gets the stun, and Vladi's still able to survive. Razork, meanwhile, in the top lane, catching out Canna, who has already burnt his flash, trading into Oscarinin, and Canna down. First blood to Oscar. And Razork making amends for Oscarinin, struggling in game 1 by going up there early.
A lot of flashes committed in that top lane play, but ultimately it results in first blood and Fnatic with control. I think this game, in contrast to last game, just shows you the power and value of having pushing lanes and how a jungler can utilize them to find those early advantages. Caliste and Targamas stepping up aggressively.
Mikyx has the ignite. He's going to jump away with that crash down. Can eat the concussive blows, just trying to get the wave in here. Canna needs to be a little cautious. Oscarinin very far away from Gnar. Will get pulled back. Canna yet to use that Darking Blade. There it comes. Q1, Q2. And will decide against using the Q3. Oscar's going to get towards Mega. Yike is on his way across. Is he going to go around for a gank? Are they going to tower dive a Mega? No.
He's just fishing enemy jungle. He's looking to see what camps are up, see if he can gauge. I think he should be able to gauge the Zyra's bot side of the map. The threat of the dive is definitely coming through from Fnatic. There's not much of a way for them to dive off of, though. Maybe they just convert it into the Dragon instead. It looks like the most likely option.
Arcane Storm used by Humanoid just to force Vladi out a little bit. Isn't going to kill him, he knows it, but that wave not in the best of spots for Vladi.
This wave, yeah, in a really good spot for Humanoid. He's already got that level 6 and the wave is pushing into him. Humanoid leveraging his level advantage as much as he can. They're naturally not going to contest the Void Grubs.
Oh, nice hit from Canna. Oh, Oscarinin down to 100 HP. Yike is here. Doesn't quite hit with that Seer. Will hit with the Pillar of Flame. Oscarinin just trying to get out. Dodges away from everything. Yike even looking for the Smite Seer there for the stun. Couldn't find it. Did get the grubs. Razork, as you say, will get the Drake on the bot side as compensation. Now has that Strangled Thorns. Can look for a little bit more. You gonna dive? Gonna dive a Braum and an Ashe. It looks like it. The dive's been called. Ignite immediately onto Caliste. Strangled Thorns coming out as well. He'll get Mikyx. For what cost? Only one. 80 carries exchanging kills.
I think this is a worthwhile trade. There was the option for Razork to move into the enemy bot side jungle and consider stealing away camps, but they thought that investing into Upset made more sense, and it's very much what the Analyst desk wanted to see, try and funnel those resources into Upset, put him in a position to carry, and getting that kill onto the MF is valuable. And while Caliste did trade the kill back, he lost a lot of farm as a result of losing his life. So we look back at the dive. Mikyx, he's able to connect the stun. The cleanse is instant from Caliste, but he still gets knocked up. And unfortunately, he doesn't have his flash available. So while he is able to trade 1-for-1, again, you see all that farm that ends up being lost. So Mikyx trying to clear out that ward, going to be zoned away. What is super interesting is the mid lane matchup. I feel like Humanoid has done a really good job of pressuring Vladi, but Vladi has not shown really much of a deficit at all.
It's going to be a plate. You can see Vladi's done a really good job of farming. He's about a wave behind, 4 or 5 in total as Humanoid catches that wave under tower. The plate for Humanoid is a lot closer than the plate for Vladi in terms of tower health. I say that with the wave going in, it's actually evened out mostly. So it's, yeah, very well done by Vladi to stay relevant in a difficult matchup.
The craziest thing is he hasn't flashed.
Also
true,
yeah.
When Mikyx was there, he was able to gauge the damage that was being done, and he realized, no, they don't have enough to kill me, so he doesn't flash. And then again in mid, we saw it in the little pip that was happening, that he walked away with like, I don't know, 50 HP, and he still didn't flash. So he still has that objective available. And again, you look at this health discrepancy, he's going to take a chunk of damage.
Has the Valkyrie, goes forward with it. There's the Arcane Storm. Targamas coming across as well.
And this keeps happening.
Yeah.
So he's going to be zoned away from a lot of farm, and maybe now we'll start to see a CS discrepancy start to build.
Humanoid shoves it in, so Vladi catches it immediately.
We'll just catch it. You're exactly right. Targamas now on the rotation towards bot. Will be spotted by Mikyx, but looks like there's no real follow-up. However, they've done the job of zoning Caliste away. Look at that CS discrepancy really starting to develop in the bot lane now. As Upset continues to find advantages.
Yeah, gets himself a plate as well. TP is going to come out from Vladi. Arrow in the mid lane. It's an engage to already, and they engage perfectly with it. Humanoid has the flash, but doesn't really have anywhere to go. Caliste gets the kill.
A much-needed kill for Caliste as the arrow connects into the mid lane to set up for the pick onto Humanoid. Well done from Casey. They look to try and equalize the gold a little bit. Grub's going to be spawning in 50 seconds, and Caliste already finds himself in the middle of the map. No TP available for Vladi. Means that if he wants to come along and contest those grubs with the rest of Casey, he's going to have to get this shove in and make his way towards that side of the map. Canna has his TP. We'll see what Casey decides to do, as the TP actually does come through from Humanoid towards the bot side of the map.
It's actually a nice sequence from Karmine Corp, right? They move Caliste to mid of him being forced out of the bot lane. Vladi then TP's bot, so no waves, no extra waves are lost there. And then Caliste gets a kill on Humanoid, who's not expecting the arrow just to come straight down the mid lane. So really nicely done from Karmine Corp. Don't lose too much on the map. Well, still moving their AD carry and support towards that mid lane. Vladi and Humanoid will match up in bot, so it's going to be a 4v4 on the top side. Flash Shadowing Strike into Upset's follow-up. The Unbreakable down from Targamas. Razork flashing forward as well. Strangled Thorns. Good Glacial Fissure from Targamas to get the knock-up on Upset, stopping the end of that bullet time. Yike forced away though, as Razork already has the Fated Ashes and the Haunting guys. Canna on his way across. Oscarinin will say, hey, my top laner is not here, guys. He wants to shove one more wave in, maybe get himself a plate, while Karmine Corp play around this mid lane.
I mean, I really feel like Fnatic's bot lane is locked in this game too. They're making so many proactive plays, both in bot lane and now in mids. Skirk going to be the target from Canna. I don't think he's in much danger.
CC into the hyper movement speed away should be fine. You saw Vladi moving towards mid lane as well, but Humanoid's actually been able to push in that wave. Targamas stepping forward, doesn't have that Glacial Fissure, and Mikyx does have the Magnet Storm.
Fnatic just have much better health advantages right now. Upset's been able to push in the mid wave. Yike really can't contest this. Overall, nice play from Fnatic. No TPs from the mid laners means that they're going to be left isolated on the bot side of the map. Canna trying to put some trading down onto Oscar means that with Oscar's nice sidestepping and mobility, he's going to be able to avoid that and also set up a nice wave freeze. So a bit of revenge for Oscar after what happened in game 1.
Much nicer laning phase for him overall, a much nicer start to the game for Fnatic overall. They managed to get the first Drake. They've split the grubs 3 apiece. They've got some plate gold as well, 2 in the bot lane, 1 in the top, and 1 in the mid lane so far. About 800 gold ahead or so right now. And Leandri is already complete on Razork. He is in a very strong spot. We do see Humanoid going for the Rod of Ages build on the Viktor here. Catalyst was buffed slightly for the laning phase, so it's only a very small buff, but it's still something.
Yeah, it's more so that I just don't really like Rod of Ages on Viktor.
I mean, I get that, but that's what he's going for. Shadowing Strike from Mikyx. He'll look for the Magnet Storm here as well. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto Upset. Doesn't force out his cleanse, as it was really a disengaging arrow rather than an engaging one.
Right now, there is a lot of fighting over control of this mid wave. Now, remember earlier we talked about how cooldowns make the matchup quite hard for Canna in the early laning phase. That's much less of an issue now. So you'll start to see Canna winning out a lot more on these short trades, especially that Oscarinin, as much as he'll try and utilize his range, you'll see he has to use some of his mobility to sidestep some of the poke that can come through from Canna. So if he connects that initial Q, it's much easier for him to then set up for the follow-up trade. So with the Electrocute and the Sundered Sky, he's going to be finding some very nice trades in that top lane matchup. And the team fighting is what we'll have to keep our eyes on. Aatrox can be a menace in the 5v5s. The only problem for Canna is this wave is in a bit of an awkward spot, but I don't think Oscarinin can keep the freeze.
Yeah, pulling the Drake out here. It's Razork in the area. Vladi has first move from bot. Upset of Mikyx trying to get that midway pushed in. Will be able to do so. Caliste has to take the long way round to join up with his team. Drake down to 2,000. Humanoid coming in from the bottom side. Mikyx goes in with a Magnet Storm. Immediately the Stranglethorns as well. Razork falling low, so is Yike. Both will fall down. Vladi almost taken out by the laser, but Humanoid just doesn't quite have the damage yet. Siphon Power coming out as well as Canna joins the play. Pops the World Ender. The slow onto Humanoid. Gravity Field, Canna flashes over it, and now Humanoid is all on his lonesome walking through the river. But they don't have enough to chase him down. 1-for-1 the exchange. Drake to Karmine Corp.
Fnatic with a nice engage. But it's overall a relatively even trade. Jungler traded for jungler. A lot of blinking health bars as Fnatic holds onto the gold lead for now. We saw what will soon be the replay coming up in a few moments, and here it is. As the engage initially comes through, the objective secured by Yike, but then the engage comes through, and it ends up being a storm of storms. As we see a Bullet Storm, we see a Chaos Storm, stacking on top of each other. Now, if he had Fated Ashes, Humanoid would have gotten a kill there.
Yep, that is true.
However, Vladi's able to live with a speck of HP, and the bonus movement speed that Humanoid is able to get off of his Q actually allows him to walk away to safety here. Maybe that's actually water walking. I'm not sure. I think it's his Q. In any case, point is that Fnatic end up a 1-for-1, losing the Drake.
Targamas, yeah, very much out of position here. Stunned up with the Shadow Strike. We can stand beside me to Caliste, and that's what it would do.
Dead?
I mean, they don't have a huge amount of damage yet, but it's Bloodthirster, MF, and Rod of Ages with 2 stacks.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough.
Maybe if that Dark Seal had 3 stacks instead of 1.
Well, I mean, there are resistances on Braum as well from his W. There's all sorts of things to help him keep him alive. In any case, let's take stock of the situation as Fnatic found themselves with a much different early game compared to game 1. A much healthier advantage with it pretty evenly spread across the board. They're now setting their sights on this bot tier 1, committing even 4 members. I don't really think they can secure the objective, but just chipping away at it after securing the top tower makes a lot of sense.
I mean, part of the risk as well is if you see Karmine Corp moving that way, Stranglethorn's coming down. Okay. Just trying to gain control and, as you say, go for the tower. But if you see Karmine Corp starting to shadow the bot side, there's always the risk that Caliste just enchanted Crystal Arrows and Humanoid gets caught out, right? So you kind of want to shadow him to make sure that if Karmine Corp find that engage tool, they can't then fully engage to follow up, or if they do, they're going to overextend into your counter engage.
Completely fair. So we find ourselves returning to somewhat standard lanes for the mid game as the AD carries fight for control over the wave. Top lane is left in an island as we see a quick back from Vladi coming through. Maybe this is an opportunity for Humanoid to finally get that tower.
Yeah, I think he should take it. He might push the wave and back.
He's got very good vision though, so he should feel safe enough.
Targamas face checking. He didn't have good vision at all. Caliste stays around, but Targamas tried to stand beside me and was pulled back by the Magnet Storm. Targamas is a goner. He's sleeping with the fishes. Mikyx gets the kill in the end, I think, with the Ignite. And that will be the Rift Herald going over to Fnatic. A very solid early game for them. They take first tower bot. They manage to get the Rift Herald. They have the first Drake. And they have a 3,500 gold lead betting.
The next challenge will be breaking open this mid-tier 1, but fortunately they've just made that challenge a lot easier with the acquisition of that objective that you were just talking about. Dragon spawning in about 1:30 as well. They could potentially get 2 birds with 1 stone. Utilize the pressure that they have with the Rift Herald into the mid lane and then convert it into the bot river to set themselves up nicely for the Dragon.
Yeah, but why are we throwing stones at birds, Vedi? Birds are beautiful, kind creatures.
Sure.
Don't have to throw stones at them.
That is valid. However,
get 2 Ferrero Rocher with 1 hand. Just grab them both.
That's called theft.
No, they can be yours.
So you'd have to buy them and then...
Yes, yeah. I'm not saying just steal Ferrero Rocher.
Again, it's a metaphor. No one's actually throwing stones at birds.
Well, metaphors have truth to them often.
if anything, the real metaphor probably has nothing to do with stones and birds.
Yeah, very true. Well, no birds on the Rift this game.
Quite right.
Corki's thrown stones at them from his helicopter.
Technically not true. Hawkshot does have a bird in it.
That is true. Oh man, you got me on a technicality.
Yes,
That's rare.
I did. Yes, I did. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels bad.
Yep. Now you know what every day is like for me.
Just stop being wrong, Betty, it'll be fine.
My bad.
Next Drake up in 30 seconds time. That's why both the teams are playing for this mid lane priority. Bot wave relatively neutral. They're just going to keep crashing against each other. But Fnatic do have the larger wallets and so get the luxury of walking in here first.
They've set up really good vision control. You can see that, well, I guess it's better to say Casey can't see anything, as highlighted by our observers. The chip damage coming through from Fnatic, proving valuable, keeping Casey on their side of the map. But again, it comes back to that conversation around engage. While they do have the Ashe arrow, does their composition really reliably follow up on it? And who does it have to hit for you to really garner value? Because if it hits Upset, well, he's got the cleanse. And let's say you do hit Humanoid, sure, that is a very valuable target. But assuming he's positioning correctly, he's a very difficult target to hit.
That he is. Oscarinin just went back into mini Gnar form, so Karmine Corp might think, well, now's an opportunity to step forward because Oscar can't TP back in with that Mega Gnar. Targamas forced away, as Fnatic have total control of the river right now. Canna looking for the flank angle here on Oscarinin. He'll try and sidestep out of the Infernal Chains, but still be caught by it. Targamas getting caught by Fnatic. Bullet time as well, and with Targamas not there, there's no Unbreakable to stop them. Mikyx turned on by Caliste and Targamas, but they can't take him out. It's just Yike falling. The Drake was stopped by Fnatic, but now with the Rift Herald charging in, they should be able to take the mid-tier 1 and the Dragon.
Love the confidence that we see from Upset, standing his ground, even in the face of Yike, looking to try and stun him up. He knows that he has the support from his team. They're able to get a kill onto Yike. And now with the Herald, they're looking to get as much as they can. The HP's getting low. Oscar likely going to die.
Yeah, he's dead. He flashes.
He's still dead. Back though. Canna's very low.
Canna? I don't think he can kill Canna. He cannot kill Canna. I told you, Ben.
You're right. You're right. The Sundered Sky and the Aatrox passive, I think, proving quite valuable there. But it was a close one. Gets the flash out from Canna at the very least. We look back at the play and Casey think, hey, we should be able to enter here. Mickey and Upset say no. Upset does get stunned up, his ulti does get interrupted, but that does not dissuade him. He commits to the cleanse, he commits to the fight, and they convert it into a nice pick into a mid-tier 1. Now, of course...
And tier 2.
Now, after losing Oscar on the top side of the map, it did leave that top tier 1 open for Vladi to, at the very least, cross-map. The thing is, the Dragon didn't go down. And now on the map resets, KC is first to the objective. Razork is on his red buff. TP available for Oscar. I'm expecting another fight.
Razork has the Seekers here. Crashed down over the wall by Mikyx. Doesn't have that Magnet Storm up yet, but Oscar on a good flank position here. Canna in towards that bot side. TP into mid lane by Vladi as he'll go to the minion wave there. Fnatic's trying to mark Canna. They'll get the mid wave. 6,000 now on the Dragon. Magnet Storm off cooldown. This is Mickey's prime time to find a fight. Targamas going to be trying to stop that bullet time from getting in. Oscarinin stepping forward, about to go Mega Gnar. It's Yike the secure. It's Kel Surprise as he's able to get the smite fight. Vladi flashes away from the Gnar. Targamas on the retreat here as well. But Canna and Yike are in a good position to flank Fnatic. Or are they being flanked by Fnatic? It seems like it might be the latter as Yike is down to a 3rd HP and Humanoid puts him in the dirt. Upset chasing onto Vladi here as well. He'll go forward with the Valkyrie, but he won't be able to take down the Zyra. Fnatic find 2 kills. I
mean, it's a 1 team fight for Fnatic. They continue to extend the gold lead. While they did lose the Drake, they're looking to get an even greater prize in the Atakan.
And with the scenic view of the Rift, let's take a scenic state of the game, Betty. 5,000 gold now the lead for Fnatic. 1 Drake to 2, as you say. But they are in prime position. All blue at the bottom of the scoreboard. That's a blue wall Fnatic are quite happy to be a part of. 1,000 gold lead for Razork, 1,000 for Humanoid, 1,000 for Upset.
So we look at how easy it is for Fnatic to re-enter the river, and again, another great smite from Yike, but then what does KC do? Canna on the flank gets completely ignored. The Ashe arrow comes through, but there's no follow-up as KC is desperately trying to retreat. Caliste has no mana available to him, so he can't contribute anything else, and this is where some of the disconnects come through from KC, because you can see Yike and Canna are thinking, we can make a flank happen, but on the other side of the fight, Caliste is saying, I've got nothing left in the tank. Vladi realizes that there's no way for him to get out, so he tries to trade 1-for-1, and he ends up losing his life.
Fnatic fans in loud voices, Oscarinin. Oh my god! Well, that's a yellow star moment if I've ever seen one, Betty.
An oopsie-daisy. Slip of the wrist.
I mean, also, he could just be really cosplaying as Braum. It's like, I don't really want to hurt these guys.
True.
You know, I'm just a nice, cuddly...
I often like to think of it as a moment of tranquility.
Yep.
Because it shows to the average player that even some of the best players can make mistakes as well.
Call it relatable League of Legends.
Yes. Yes.
My stream is full of it.
I thought of so much flame in my head then, and I decided to move away from all.
You could have gone Targamas channeled his 2024 performances.
There's
a bunch of things you could have said.
No.
You decided not to do any of those.
I didn't think, nor did I say any of those.
He's been having a great year as Targamas, but I think it's, man, whatever Caliste is doing to him, whatever sort of meditation or discussions they're having behind the scenes, Caliste has helped transform Targamas.
It just goes to show that when all you need is a good partner, someone you can trust in, someone you can rely on, which is why I love casting with Dracos so much. Like, I feel like we really just get each other.
I understand that, man.
So great.
Here's the problem, Betty. You're my best man, and you learned how to play Magic the Gathering for my bachelor party. So,
well, I wasn't going to say that. That just ruins the bit, doesn't it? That ruins the bit.
Like, I'm never going to feel that you don't love me.
No, I love you a lot, man.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
Now, let's get back to the action, because you know what we love more? League of Legends.
True. Well, this is a prime Fnatic throw sort of game today in my mind. They're 6,000 gold ahead. They have control of the entire map.
Yeah.
It's Fnatic time.
Yeah, I see you've watched Fnatic before.
Yes.
Now, of course, with their gold lead, they are, as you rightly said, in prime position to win this game. I think Fnatic should wisely wait for Upset to complete that Infinity Edge, which he does seem very close to completing. The Dragon spawning in about 1:25. Baron, I think, should be an afterthought for Fnatic for the time being. There's no real need for them to force it. The pings are coming down, though. There is a question mark, but I feel like Dragon is the easier objective, especially given that both Humanoid and Upset are looking to complete their next major items.
I think it's also like Fnatic would just like a little bit more vision around the Baron pit, which is maybe where the question marks were coming from. You can see Oscarinin walks across, puts a control ward in there. Yike does the same. They had some vision in the Karmine Corp red side jungle, but not enough, as Canna will clear out that ward. 75 gold, Oscarinin's just... why ever buy them? No point, you know? I'm just going to get cleared by enemies. 40 seconds on the Drake Vedi. It would only be Fnatic's second of the game, but for Karmine Corp, it's a way back into the game. If they can find this, then they're on Soul Point. They do have a 2.5 item AD carry. Well, they've got 2 of them, in fact, as Vladi has finished his Mana Mune, all upgraded to the Mura Mana alongside that Triforce. Yike has Rylai's and Liandry's, so he's in a good spot as well, at least in terms of where he can be relative to Razork. For Razork, though, that Seeker's Arm Guard is going to do a lot of work if he is the one caught out by Karmine Corp.
See how things transpire as Canna is doing what he can to help maintain vision on the top side of the map for his team. The specks of vision that have been dropped by Fnatic are being quickly cleared out. KC, they haven't spotted that ward, and they're going to start the Baron off.
They think that they're safe, but Mikyx, the sneaky devil that he is, placed that ward just outside of the control ward range. Oscarinin and Canna trading towards the top side. Oscar going forward, looking for that wallop. Canna still winning out on the trade. Karmine Corp forced away because Upset's here. The Drake secured by Fnatic. And Karmine Corp's little foray into taking a Baron is interrupted.
I like the idea from KC. If they were able to sneak that one away, of course, it could flip the game on its head.
Arrow?
Ashe arrow.
It's a great engage tool, as Razork's the one who's caught out. Vladi looking for the damage, but doesn't quite have it yet. Razork holds on to his flash.
The tier 2 tower in the bot lane was protected by KC. I think the good thing for KC is, thanks to Yike's great smites from earlier in the game, they're not at risk of a soul, which Fnatic would love to be fighting over right about now. Of course, securing that last dragon puts the timer at about 4 minutes, which means that the next main objective to play for is this Baron. Of course, with Upset being as strong as he is, as a Fnatic fan, you should feel confident about your position, but that Baron can be a very scary thing to fight against, especially given the Baron that we have. You can see these narrower choke points where the Misfortune can do a lot of damage, but the Braum can also mitigate a lot of the potential damage that comes through from Fnatic, who right now are getting control over those waves and are getting control around the Baron pit.
Something Fnatic has done really well, though, is separate the Braum from the carries. Often Targamas will be on one side of the fight, and then Vladi and Caliste on the other, so the Unbreakable isn't stopping the bullet time. Like, Upset's getting a few good channels of that bullet time down in the last couple of fights, and all you need is a couple of the waves to hit, and you're going to absolutely melt Caliste and Vladi. Now Fnatic stepping forward into this red side jungle, gaining vision control. The wave a long way away. We see Karmine Corp fighting into the darkness.
List. Just trying to chip away the HP bars, but Upset has a very chunky shield to keep him safe. Fnatic with position on the mid wave. Maybe they want to escort this towards the tier 3 tower.
They can. Vladi's not there. Upset walks forward. There's the arrow. Upset cleanses it. Yike with a bit more damage onto Razork, but Fnatic able to walk away. Slightly wounded, but not too consequentially.
So you can see a degree of hesitation from Fnatic. They do get the arrow out from Caliste, and I'm sure they'd love to be playing around this Baron, but again, it's still a very scary objective to play through. You can't afford to underestimate KC, even though they don't have the easiest composition to play when it comes to the 5v5s. I will say, now that the death cap is finished for Humanoid, this is a build that I like.
Okay.
Because if you go for the Rod of Ages and then you go for more defensive itemization, then you're just lacking completely. But if you go Liandry's plus Death Cap, you're still going to hit hard. You just have a little bit more survivability behind you as well. It takes a longer time to get there. This is an expensive build. But he's there. Yep. And now he's level 18 Viktor, fully upgraded, ready to do some very serious damage.
Farmed well this game as well. About 10 CS a minute or so. Upset and Caliste up at that scoreline as well, as Mikyx was chunked out a little bit. Blaze damage hurting him, the Rell slowing him, but he's able to walk away. He should be fine. We saw Oscar winning the trades against Canna as well on the bottom side of the map, taking that tier 2. The gold lead extends for Fnatic, 7.3k, a 4th item on Upset as well, who has that rapid fire cannon complete. In a very solid spot are Fnatic. They are just being intensely patient.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you're a KC fan, you should still be a little optimistic. And I know you were just making a joke about Fnatic earlier, but we've seen many teams in this position where they have such a huge gold lead, but they then don't actually convert it into a win. And it's because you now have to take the risk. You're the one that has to force the play and put the pressure onto KC. They have a lot of wave clear. They have a lot of disengage tools. They have a lot of defenses in place. So you've got to drag them out of their defenses, and you've got to be proactive.
Oh, Targamas is caught. He flashes the wall, puts the Unbreakable down. I think, was Upset just autoing the ward?
Control ward, yeah.
And then Targamas thought he was going to get autoed as well.
I wonder if that's small pocket of vision.
No, because you just see the control ward, I'm pretty sure. I think
you're right, because like 2 autos went into that control ward.
Pretty sure Upset just saw the control ward. Targamas
here we go.
I need to get out of here. Baron begun by Fnatic. Targamas will have that Unbreakable backup. Canna just recalling in the bot lane. Mikyx on the wrong side of the wall, and he'll take a blaze towards the Baron. Humanoid trying to put the damage down as well. The arrow hits Upset. He's not got cleanse. Yike's going to put some more damage into him as Oscarinin looking for that Mega Gnar. Caliste doing a good job. In fact, well, we went, and now they've gone, but Karmine Corp will start up the Baron themselves.
Look at Canna on the flank. He's fishing for an angle.
Mikyx looking for him. Shadowing Strike not going to hit. Targamas puts the Unbreakable down. Mikyx goes in with the Magnusorn onto Canna. Targamas chasing forward here as well. And Canna will kill off Mikyx. Humanoid knocked up with the Glacial Fissure. Razork trying to get in here for the smite fight. Yike off towards the back. It will be secured once again by Yike. Is there anything this man can't do? 2 games in a row now. He's been able to win the Baron smite fight against Razork. Canna put down so much value coming in from the flank and just drawing so much attention. I think 3 members of Fnatic were trying to deal with him as he was committed to getting that kill onto Mikyx. And even though he trades his life for ultimately just Mikyx, it works.
again, keep your eyes on Canna, and look what he's doing. The ulti gets committed by Mikyx. They're trying to stop him from collapsing, and it's crucial that they do. But now Upset is being taken away, and KC have position on the Baron. Humanoid, as he's trying to stop Targamas from providing assistance. Fnatic is now disorganized. Razork is in a very difficult spot. And the smite is then secured by Yike. It's a one-team fight by Fnatic, but KC find another angle to stall the game for longer.
Importantly for Karmine Corp, they got 3 people out with that Baron as well. One of them being Vladi, who can split push a little bit on this Corki at least, has the safety. He's not just going to be caught out. Targamas. He's going to look for a stand beside me onto Caliste here, but he's already rooted up, and yeah, Targamas, he's dead. That was greedy positioning from him. You saw people in the mid lane going for that ward. When you don't have your teammates around the arrow, though. And now Mikyx getting chased down by Caliste. Fnatic greedy as well, as Karmine Corp find 2. Caliste will flash and cleanse his way away from Humanoid. He'll just flash as Yike and Vladi are now getting chased down. Oscarinin about to go mega. Humanoid opening up with a big deeps. Yike tries to turn it back around, but Yike will fall as well. The Humanoid takes 2. And just like that, Karmine Corp lose most of their Baron buffs.
The game is getting very messy as picks are happening across the board. It starts with KC finding a pick onto Razork, and they turn it into a pick onto Mikyx as well.
Canna's just gonna go. Humanoid has flash here. Infernal Chains won't get the pullback. Canna needs those wings to fly him out of here. Upset's on the chase as well. Canna will turn around in that gravity field. Realizes there's nowhere for him to go. Humanoid 5-1 now on the Viktor.
Yeah, the Viktor is quite good at kiting, especially when you have that gravity field to be put down. Canna losing his life, really not gaining much value off the back of it. The good news is that Fnatic have no real objectives to play for, so it ends up just being a kill. The goal difference was 7k earlier, so the good news, thanks to securing that Baron, is that KC have been able to claw some of that back, but as you can see from the Baron power play, it's only about 500 gold. Yeah. I think we're in for a long one. The pressure continues to mount, and the thing for KC, though, is even though they still have decent enough itemization that they could win out on a fight, I just have concerns around how their comp actually functions when it comes to finding a good fight. I think it's so much easier for Fnatic to play. And I think we're seeing that in so many of the ensuing fights, as Fnatic have now set their sights on the top tier 2.
Should be able to get this here. The wave there, all of Fnatic are just circling, looking for that tower. They'll take the tier 2, cleared out the mid lane. He's going back to base. I wonder, he's up towards that next item. Still a little bit of time before he gets there, but he swaps a small sword for a big one, as his Dormans has been sold back to Boris. And he has grabbed himself a BF sword.
We enter a moment of respite as no objectives on the map, as we highlighted earlier. Both teams just looking to clear what they can, try and finish some itemization. Yeah, a lot of poke at his disposal. Void Staff now finished with 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. I wonder if he will upgrade that to a Medjai's. For now, it's not necessary. He's just gone full damage from here out, which I like a lot. I really don't think the Zhonya's is necessary in this game either as well, so I like the direction that he's gone with it. Fnatic back on the offensive with a wave. They've set their sights on mid, and they're just going to melt this.
Vladi was clearing out top wave. Immediately, the inhibitor tower in the mid lane is gone. Upset stepping forward. Yike takes a double up and is chunked out as well. Upset will step in by himself, has cleanse and flash, very safe in this sort of position. So you say minimal engage from Karmine Corp. Canna trying to catch the wave a little bit earlier here, but Oscarinin keeping him at bay alongside Humanoid. Will force him back. Wave already cleared out. Canna low though. Oh, you can see Karmine Corp looking for that engage. KC, you can smell it sometimes. There's that opportunity, but don't want to overextend, especially with Upset still having that flash.
Upset taking a lot of damage, but is able to heal it back up. Dragon 45 seconds with KC having the wave in mid. They're going to escort this towards the tower, which remains standing. We're 36.5 minutes in, and they haven't been able to knock down that tier 1.
Let's Ultimate already half the way off cooldown. Did get Upset's cleanse in that last little exchange, and now Upset without cleanse, concussive blows, and the arrow, and the sear, the stun from Yike. Could be enough. Even the slow from Caliste can do a little bit of work. Fnatic, though, keeping them at bay still. Now doing a really good job of just chunking Karmine Corp out that little bit. before they get towards the Drake. Humanoid very willing to step up this Rod of Ages, giving him a lot of safety. There's the arrow once again into the Glacial Fissure. Vladi trying to get in from the side, but Targamas is the one who's already chunked out. Oscarinin falling low as well. Doesn't have that Mega Gnar yet. The Sterak's shield into the Gnar. Upset trading onto Vladi. He'll take one. Canna now in the middle of 4 members of Fnatic. He'll dive forward looking for the healing, but this isn't G2, my man. Fnatic don't die to the Aatrox in the river. Humanoid flashes in for the double. Caliste tries to trade it. He'll get one out of it, but it's the only one that Karmine Corp will be able to find. Yike. He's going to put the damage down onto Razork, who will...
he gets him.
Does he? Does he get him? He does! He gets him, but at what cost? His Nexus towers are laid bare. Fnatic will start on them. Upset Oscarinin and Mikyx looking to take us to a game 3. Yike comes back alive, but doesn't have a way to clear out the wave. Mikyx stomps him down, and Fnatic will take us to game 3.
A really nice bounce back performance from Fnatic as they found some great fights, and with a much better early game, they came out swinging. A little bit slow to close things out. They did lose a Baron, but ultimately they will bring us to game 3. I didn't like the draft from KC. I thought that they were really limited in their options, and we'll see how they adapt as we get closer and closer to that third game.
Yeah.